All right, all right. Let's get this party started. Welcome to Legacy Builders Live, and I'm excited today. I have my friend with us, Chris Baden. Chris Baden's the CEO and co-founder of FlowChat. He's a serial entrepreneur who has been employing himself and others for over 15 years and has built four different companies across four different industries that each do over 7 figures per year. FlowChat has generated over $3 million in organic sales in the last 2 years alone, going from $35,000 in their first month to consistently averaging over $100,000 per month. All right, so welcome, Chris, to the show. Excited to have you here with us today to drop some gold on DM selling, what DM selling is, and jump into it.
Awesome, Bryan. Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to have a chat.
Awesome, man. Well, so let's start here. So you've built multiple seven-figure companies, right? But FlowChat specifically came from solving a massive pain point, right? What was the aha moment that made you and Sean realize that DM selling was the answer?
Yeah, well, I think what you're saying there is really important. First off, I definitely am not doing this alone. There's two other co-founders in FlowChat, Bruno and Sean, and we've been working together for a while on this particular problem. But solving this problem is something we actually solve for ourselves first. In fact, anyone listening, watching, you know how like you do those things like really well, but they're kind of common to you. You don't think about them as much, and so you just do it naturally. DM selling is one of those things for us. And it was one of the things that we're using actually in all the other companies. And so, and not just me, like Sean was doing this, Bruno has done this. And so in our other companies, when we bootstrap them, you could put us in an industry and we'd always find a way to build, sell, and scale. And we did it with DM selling. And we're like, well, of course you would. Why wouldn't you do this? You can go find all of your ICPs, your ideal customers or ideal customer profiles on social media for free. You can connect with them for free. You can talk back and forth with them and nurture them for free. And then eventually the relationship grows and they become a client. And so the CAC, the cost to acquire, is cheaper than anywhere else, right? We've done paid ads, challenges, summits, webinars, paid ads, pretty much even direct mail, pretty much everything except for carrier pigeon we've tried in sales and marketing. And you can do all the things, right? But we like the ones that have really low CAC, but still really quality leads and high LTV, lifetime value. And so our clients began to ask us like, wait a minute, what is this process you're doing? They started to ask about DM selling, and we're like, oh, we've got like spreadsheets and Google Docs, and here's how we do it. It's kind of manual, but it works really well. And so down the rabbit hole we went. We're like, yeah, we can help you with this. And then we looked for tech, and then it was really messy, and you had to buy different tech for all the different platforms. We're like, we just need one on all of the platforms, so it was simple for our internal team to keep running. And there's a lot there, but that's kind of the genesis of what came about with flowchat.com.
Awesome. That's great. So you mentioned generating over 3 million in organic sales through DMs, right? It's probably far past that now, right?
Yeah.
Can you break down what selling by chat actually means and why it's much more effective than traditional methods?
Yeah, 100%. And we've done all the methods, and like the other ones aren't bad. It's just when we bring a product or service to market, I want speed. I don't want to waste time and or money figuring out if the market actually cares about this. And what I learned over the years is that the breakthrough idea actually isn't in my mind. I'm not gonna lock myself in this room and like, okay, I'm just going to think and like really work this out. It's not in my mind. It's actually in the mind of the market. And if I never go to them and ask them what's on their mind and give them the opportunity to tell me, I'm never going to know. And so the reason FlowChat and the other companies that myself, Sean, or Bruno have built have worked so well is because we don't guess. When you do the real work, there's no guesswork. And so like why FlowChat's growing and doing great is because the market's building it, not us. Literally, we're building in public, live. You can see our roadmap and the features that people are voting on, and then our team's just building it. We get out of the way. And so, like you're saying, why is it more effective? Because you cannot get any more connected to the market than what we are. For example, I'll give you an example. If love paid, Bryan, you're amazing at paid ads and funnels, right? You're the man when it comes to that. Clearly it works. However, specifically in beginning stages, if someone sees an ad and then goes through a funnel, you have no connection with them yet. They might not have even continued to opt in, right? But with DMs, we saw their profile. We know more about them than just a name and an email. They know more about us because they saw our profile. We've even interacted back and forth a couple times. And even if they don't buy, we see where in the sales process they stopped. So we know where the objections are, what the pains are, what we specifically need to fix to get to the next step in the sales process, improving our conversions. You're really connected to who you serve. And as soon as you know who you serve and how you solve their problems, but not just solving them quickly with the least amount of clicks, with the least amount of time as possible, it turns out, Bryan, the people begin to like you and then talk to you about it. They're like, this guy, man, he gets it done. He knew exactly what I was thinking, what I was feeling, what I needed before I even did. Anyway, there's more stories I can share you there, but that's the gist of it.
Well, and I look at it that way too. It's like, I typically recommend my clients start that before they launch ad campaigns. Get the DM engine rolling, right? Because just like you mentioned, right, it's a great way to get internal feedback and data before ad campaigns go live. So that's one way I look at it. Is I typically recommend everyone that we launch online. It's all right, deploy this 30 days, 45 days before we actually are going to run ad campaigns. And then the other thing is I equate it to squeezing a lemon, right? And it's if I'm going to run paid ads, yes, because I like to pay to acquire, and I like to be able to flip the switch whenever I want and be in control. But also, it's when you combine it, it's a very powerful strategy. When you combine paid traffic with the DM selling strategy, and you combine it together, it's like squeezing the lemon. So it's basically getting more out of your budget. If you look at it that way.
That's 100% right, Bryan. Because when you go into paid and you're beginning to scale, and listen, there are cons to DM selling too. It's not like it solves so many problems. You can do a ton with it, but every way that you acquire a customer, there's pros and cons to all of them, right? And so I always say this: the best copywriters aren't the ones that we pay as founders and business owners. The best copywriters are the ones that pay us, and that's our customers. They're voting for us with their Visa or MasterCard. They're saying, I like this. When you do this, when you provide this, this is what I find worth something. And the words that are being associated with the pains or the struggles, the problems that they're having, those are the best phrases, the hooks, the headlines that get the open rates in email, that get the click-through rates in ads, just like you're saying, Bryan. So when you have both, you're getting that data here, plugging it in the funnel and the ads, and ROAS goes up, and then everyone's happy.
That's right. Awesome, man. So in your experience with working with over 4,000 businesses, right, who use your platform, what are the biggest mistakes you see people making when they try to sell through DMs?
Yeah, this is a huge one. This is a huge one. In fact, we cover, I won't be able to cover all of them today, but we are coming out with some resources for you to easily access all of these, but a couple huge ones, right? We have a lot of data. We've studied over 350,000 DM conversations. More recently, what's converting on different platforms for different industries. Big mistakes. Number one is looking and sounding like everybody else. I can share one specific example that you can take listening and watching this right now today. You can implement this in seconds and not look and sound like everyone else. You want to hear what it is? Indirect messaging. Indirect messaging. Think about if you were to go to your DMs and you go to the message request bin, right? Look at all the messages that you receive. typically 60 to 80% or more of them start with what? Hey, first name. Despite platform, hey, first name, hey, first name, hey, first name. Now, one of two things typically happens here. One, people are like, oh, like, I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to. Well, good. You shouldn't, because it doesn't work well. But also, the second perspective here is that's your competition. You know how easy it is to stand out, be different? All you got to do is like say hi or give one compliment, and people are like, whoa, I don't know what it was about you, Bryan. Your message really stood out to me, and I decided to click. It's very easy to win. Here's how you can change the structure of it. The first 3 to 5 words of every DM that you send is like your subject line of an email. It's like the headline on a landing page. You want to use that digital real estate very effectively. Using words like you, your, this, those are really powerful words to use somewhere in your first 3 to 5 words. And take the first name for personalization, but put it at the end of the sentence. And so, hey, this really stood out to me, Bryan. Exclamation mark. And then you can elaborate further on the message. We break down our ask method, and we have all these different frameworks for how to carry on a full conversation to the point of booking a call or getting them to register for webinars or invite them to your podcast or get invited onto podcasts. There's all different types of conversations and flows that we have copy for with direct messaging and DM selling. But one last thing here, Bryan, that will really help somebody stand out. This is the 2 of like 4 or 5, the most common mistakes is selling too fast. It's selling too fast. It's, hey, you have a pulse and I have a BioLink. What do you say? You know, like message number 1, no one likes it. The people sending it don't like how it feels. And the people receiving it definitely don't. And there's a ton of brand damage that happens when you do this. Now, we're not at FlowChat over here, we're not looking to have 3-year conversations and no one buys or sells anything. We're looking to serve people, make impact, help people make decisions, just to be clear. But if there was a spectrum and, hey, let's buy first message right here and let's chat forever and nothing happens. If we were to go in the middle at FlowChat, we even tilt closer to this side. There's actually 2 to 3 strategic transition questions you can ask in any industry that will help move the sale forward. But step number 1 is selling in DMs. The best way to do it is not to sell. You want to go signal-based versus sales-based. Sales is asking and taking, where signal is constant inviting. You're inviting people into awareness of their pain or problem and how to solve it at the pace that they are looking to move at in their customer journey. So it's signal-based is knowing how to meet people where they're at and build and grow from there.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, you don't want to be that annoying realtor at that networking event that just is pitching you on selling your house or buying your next house, and they make it known that they're a realtor, right? Like, I always say this, like when it comes to online stuff, it's just be human. Like, what would you do in real life, right?
Yeah.
Like, do that. Like, be more real, be more human. Like, think about how would you introduce yourself to someone that you just met at church or you just met at an event, right? Like, you probably wouldn't invite them to go to your webinar. I remember this is one I get DMs all the time, and I'm sure they're using software to do it, but it's like, it's the same message over and over and over again, but it's always like you said, hey, Bryan, and then this big old long message, right? The newest one is, hey, Bryan, I'd love to have you be a part of our mastermind. I'd like to invite you as my free guest. Like, I don't need another mastermind. I'm already in enough, and they're paid. It's like, I'm not going to join. Why am I going to join your free mastermind? And then the topic is completely like just at a totally different level. Like, you have no idea. Like, why would I waste my time on that topic? They just skipped over the entire relationship build process, which is not effective.
Well, and the example you shared is a really good one. A lot of times we help people get rid of something we call keyboard courage. People will, like, I don't know what happens or goes through people's mind when they start writing DMs, but when they're behind a screen and with a keyboard, but if you were to take those messages and go in person, look somebody in the eye and read your DM to somebody, I've actually done this in different presentations just so everyone can feel the awkwardness.
Yeah.
And they can not only understand, but in their heart, they can understand, oh, I get why this is terrible and I should never do it ever again. In real life, like you're saying, when you're at an event, you're listening to someone speak, like you're listening to this content here. Is anyone connecting or building rapport? And no, hopefully we're being educated, entertained, and learning some stuff while that's happening. But at real life events, when the presentation is done and everyone goes into the hallway and they're getting ready to go to their next thing, that's the transition. That's where they're bumping into each other. That's where they're saying, oh, like, where are you from? Oh, well, what brings you here? Oh, what are you focused on, these days? The natural conversation, I would say natural questions in the hallway is where rapport is built. And if you treat DMs like the hallway online, this is where you start to win. It's signal based. It's not sales based. And ironically, you end up making way more sales.
Awesome. Cool. So how can someone who is just getting started apply DM selling principles, even if they're doing it manually?
Yes. And that's where we started, is manually. The first couple things is decide what platform you want to find your ideal customer profile on. Well, Chris, I'm business to business, so it's LinkedIn. Absolutely. LinkedIn is fantastic these days, but don't discard Facebook or Instagram or X. Like we're winning on all these platforms. You know why? Because there's billions of users, active users daily on all these platforms. Now, all this being said, step number one is pick the platform. Generally, I say the one that you're on the most, because that's the one that you'll actually show up on the most, and you'll spend the most time, giving you the highest probability of actually winning. So that's kind of one pro tip that I would share. The second is find strategic ways that you can find your ideal customers. I'll share two examples here. Number one, on Facebook can be Facebook groups. So if you're looking for accountants, for example, you can find like marketing for accountants or some, insert interest for accountants. And then you can go and click the members area, and all those members are congregated accountants, your ICP, right? Just a pro tip, if you do this, hit the members tab on the Facebook group and we'll open up the members, but scroll through, you'll find different sections. One of the sections is labeled members with things in common. Spoiler alert, what's in common is that you're mutual friends with all of those accountants. And if you're mutual friends on Facebook, EdgeRank, the algorithm, it likes you better because like, oh, he's just reaching out. She's just reaching out to more people within their natural circle. I'm going to give more distribution to them. So higher open rate, higher click-through rate, and more sales. So that's a pro tip on Facebook. I know I'm going kind of quickly, but if we go to LinkedIn as a second example, this one's really fun. LinkedIn events. Yes, of course you can host your own LinkedIn events, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about type in your ICP, marketers, CEOs, business owner, whatever the ICP, ideal customer profile you're looking for, type that in free LinkedIn account, and then click events. There's going to be all these bubbles below the search on the top of the screen, and you can say people, you can say groups, you can select this. And like my Vanna White display, like hand gestures here, it's easier to see. But if you're on LinkedIn, you'll see a bubble that says events. When you go to these events on LinkedIn, click attend, register for the event. And what will appear is a little tab called networking. And now you'll have your ICP, your ideal customer profiles, that are raising their hand, interested in the similar product and service that you provide, and you have the whole attendee list. And you can reach out to every single, you don't have to go to it even. You can reach out to them and you say one of two things. Oh man, I see we both registered for this event. I missed it. Just curious, what was your favorite takeaway? And they'll say, oh, it was this. And then you carry on the conversation. Why were you looking into that? That's exactly what I happen to do. I can help you with this. You want to hop on a quick call? Or they say, oh, I wasn't able to make it. And you could say, oh, no worries. Me too. Just curious. what was the inspiration for you registering for this event? What are you trying to solve? Either way, you're going down a let's jump on a call conversation, and they're not only the right person, but they're the right person looking for the product or service that you provide. They're warmer and further in their buying cycle with you. So those, I know that was a lot, but I'm trying to be concise. Those are just two. We have these type of strategies, strategic strategies you can do for free on all the platforms as well.
Awesome, man. Okay. That was gold. Thank you for sharing that wisdom there. So what kind of results have people seen with improper DM selling frameworks? Are there any specific success stories that really stand out to you?
Oh yeah. Well, sorry. I thought I heard you say improper. Are you saying like with proper
Proper,
structure?
yeah. Proper strategies.
Okay, like the good stuff.
Not improper strategies. Yeah.
There are some epic failures.
For sure.
But in terms of some great ones, absolutely. I have. Okay. Fabi for a branding agency, right? She was stuck around $40,000 per month, and I can reveal all my secrets right here in about 20 seconds. We look at the sales journey, right? The customer journey for each product or service, each company that we're working with. Majority of them have 2 touch points or less. And so we come on and we know that statistically, we need 7 to 13 touch points in any industry to get 80% of our sales or more. So a lot of times what we're doing is we're just adding in additional touch points. That could be liking their most recent post, sending a direct message, endorsing skills on LinkedIn. As we add in these additional touch points, there's more nurture that's taking place for an organic buying experience. So we did this for Fabi, and when she was stuck at 40,000, in 74 days, she was doing consistently over $200,000 per month in sales. And it wasn't just that month, it was the next month. Because while we can't control results, we can control revenue generating activity. And so we installed consistent 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th nurture points in her customer journey. And oddly enough, Bryan, it worked again and again and again. Here's one for you. There's so many of these. We have these all listed on our site too. But here's another crazy story that's like super fresh. In the last 6 months, there's someone named Amy Lynn. She's a health coach, life coach. She's done over $1 million in the last 6 months using FlowChat organically in these DM selling campaigns. And FlowChat does help automate these, so there is leverage to it. But here's the crazy part. She's paralyzed from the neck down. Wow. Her story is insane. The heart of this lady, she is one of the strongest fighters and passionate people I think I've ever met. And she does have a team, but there's how she's brought together her product or service. And I always think of her when people are like, well, I don't know what to say, and I'm not sure. And I was like, you got arms, you got legs, like your body works. You don't, there's so many other limitations that you just need to hear her story and let her share, but she finds a way. And, having these automations running now, she doesn't have to do these particular things in her business, and it's still allowing her to scale and grow. Nice. Awesome. Okay. You went from 35,000 a month to over 100,000 months, right? And consistently, right? Yep. What role would you say played in systematizing and scaling your DM processes that play into that growth? Okay, very good question. Let me give you 3 buckets for this, okay? The first one is list building. It's finding the right leads. You want to have the right leads. And this is in terms of like people or team, like what tasks that just have to get done. First, you need the right leads. Usually VAs can help you with this. If you're doing it manually, FlowChat can help you with this if you want it to go more tech and automated route. The second bucket are setters. While we automate revenue generating tasks, we're not automating rapport. We're still human to human. It just works. I know there's tech to like have bots and do stuff, and it's going to keep getting better and better. And we even have people using it in FlowChat with their own stuff that they've set up, and it's working for them. Overall, though, if you're not a genius wizard obsessively looking over prompts and engineering and all that stuff, you want to have, don't automate rapport, still have setters, basically having the conversation. And then the third bucket that you really want to have are closers, people that are demoing your product, having that sales call. And a lot of the qualification can really be done on the first call or really just in DMs without a call. So it's saving a lot of time in our sales cycle as well. But the three simple buckets are: you want to get the right profiles, the right leads, you want the setters to have conversation with them, and you want the closers to convert. That's the conversion event. Sometimes it's a webinar or an event as well that can be the conversion event.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. If someone's listening to this and wants to start implementing DM selling in their business tomorrow, what would be the first three things they should focus on?
Well, the right leads for sure. You want to go find the right profile. So go on Facebook groups, go to those linked strategic LinkedIn events. If you're on Instagram, find the micro influencers, and you can go on, just on ChatGPT or whatever AI you're using and say, who are the top 10 micro influencers in insert your industry? And you could even clarify between, call it 5,000 to like 40,000 followers. They're a little bit more approachable, easy to connect with. And then if you want to like do a joint webinar, like you can find strategic partners that have already congregated all of your ideal customers. So you want to get the right leads, and then just write your first message. Start reaching out to them. Don't take all the pressure of what do I say and I need to sell them and how am I approach them. Just take that and just like put it off to the side and just reach out and share just one simple compliment of something that stood out to you. And you're going to find you're going to get into more conversations, and the more conversations you have, the more natural and easy it will be for you to have. If you want to keep things really, really simple, right leads and the right message, which is just a simple compliment to get started. That's something I feel everyone can really get started with, and then at least learn and grow from there.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, Chris, this has been incredible. Been dropping gold, dropping wisdom. For people who want to dive deeper on your methodologies, I know we created something special that's about to drop, right? The DM selling playbook. Super excited about that. It contains exact scripts and frameworks that have generated over 3 million last year alone. Can you talk a little bit more about the DM selling playbook that we've got coming out?
Yes, this is our brain all consolidated in nice pictures and graphics and bullet points for you to take. They're essentially SOPs, standard operating procedures, that not only made us money, but have made our clients over $20 million this just last year alone as well. We've been using this stuff for combined decades, but we've productized ourselves well, and we've become more useful to you listening and watching with the DM selling playbook. We've tested all of these methods and frameworks, not only with people for years, specifically with FlowChat, but we've also hosted live events. They're workshops, and people implement this in the workshop and start getting sales the same day, because these are sales processes. So this DM selling playbook is crazy valuable. And simply put, we go right leads, right message, plus right systems equals big results. This is our ultimate big framework. And we go through in specifically how to hunt and find warm leads that not only are the right fit, but have a higher intent to buy. And we go over exactly what words to use for you and your industry. Because listen, if you're a plumber in New Jersey versus a coach that coaches female founders, startup founders on Instagram, the words are going to be very different. And so you want to have the right words to fit your brand voice and fit your flow and feel in your market. And lastly, the systems. If you've ever felt like burned out, tired, you're spinning your wheels, you're putting out level 10 energy, but you're only getting back level 2 profit or returns, it's because you don't have the right systems. The people that you look at that are winning big and doing well, and you're like, how do they do it? They're not working harder than you. They have the right systems that are consistently doing the right things. And if you don't know those, you can't just find this. Like, a lot of it's through experience. So Bryan has done this. That's how Bryan and I met, is in to other masterminds. We've learned from other people that have paid the tuition fee to learn the right methods and everything. So we've put those systems in this playbook so that you can literally, like as we're talking right now, I have a system over here and another computer running automatically, doing the right things daily to drive revenue. So this framework, right leads, right message, right system, is all comprised in the DM selling playbook. It makes it very quick and easy to implement for you.
Yeah, and I'm excited. We're going to be dropping it soon. If you want to bookmark this, it's going to be dmsellingplaybook.com. That's where it's going to drop. It's not ready yet. It's in production, but it's coming out of production very soon. So bookmark that sucker. You'll see it when we go live. So again, dmsellingplaybook.com. Okay, 2 more questions, Chris. First question, before we wrap, will be, what's one thing you're doing right now? Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be connected to DM selling, but like, what's one thing that's absolutely crushing it in your business right now that's like helping it go to the next level?
Well, we've continued to refine this way of acquiring, and just to be clear, with DM selling, there's outbound and there's inbound flows. And so today we've primarily talked about outbound so far, where, hey, this is how we find people and we approach them. But listen, you say, what's working really, really well? As you go and grow, this thing scales and starts to compound on itself. For example, if we're sending 20 booking links out, today, the next day, those are still floating in inboxes, but we send another 20. And then you go to the next day and then there's another 20. But here's like a really concise inbound flow that I can share. It's on Instagram. We can auto DM new followers on Instagram. This flow is making some, micro and bigger influencers millions per week, per day right now. For example, this is what it sounds like. If you're getting a new follower from somebody that saw your ad or maybe a story that you posted, and it's not like they follow you and then we like DM them like instantly. That didn't test really well. You want to wait maybe like 8 minutes at least, at the very minimum, is what we found through testing. But typically we'll do maybe like an hour or 2, right? Later we'll follow up. So someone follows you and then you auto reply with a simple message like this: hey, thanks for the follow. Are you here for the content, or insert your product or service? And so there's some big influencers that are using just that one little simple phrase. It's a nurture point. It's a touch point. And but think about this. Of all the new followers that are like you listening, watching, if you're on Instagram, what's your touch point after someone's following you? Most of the time we're taking people from doing nothing to getting 2 or 3 or 4 extra nurture points. And you're asking relevant signal-based questions. It makes it really hard not to make a lot more money. Most people listening and watching to this have at least $150,000 to probably $250,000 just sitting in their DM inbox. But why is it sitting there? Why haven't you just gone in there manually? Because the mess in Messenger, you have to scroll and find Susie, Jeff, Bob, or Kyle from 2 days ago, that alone 2 weeks ago, read every conversation, remember where they came from. No one's going to do that. It doesn't even make sense to pay somebody to do that. But when you find, like with FlowChat and the DM selling playbook and these methods and systems, you're able to just import that in a click and organize all this and consistently get those touch points in that equal more sales. This is why it's working so well for people that have the right leads and have the right messaging and system. But where have you heard this before? This might, for a lot of people listening to this might be the first time. Oh, that's how they're doing it. We, in the DM selling playbook, it's like lifting the hood up. You get to see underneath the hood. Oh, this is how the engine is running. And then you can replicate it.
That's awesome. Awesome, man. Okay, last question.
Yeah.
AI is hot. AI is changing the game. I want to know, how you're using it personally, in your business, outside your business. Like, what do you love about AI right now?
I'm pro AI. It's from a point of efficiency, it's just getting better and better. Like maybe not quite daily, but certainly weekly. So how are we applying it? Number one is coding. Like we're a software company. So writing code, we actually have a bunch of AI agents that are testing for bugs rather than, hey, we we publish new features live and wait for people to click and like figure out what's broken. It's just published, and then bots are just stress testing it so we can find it faster.
Nice.
That's a good application. We've even used it in accounting, believe it or not. We're spread out over 7 different countries in our company, just internally, like our team alone. And so different regulations and how, taxes and everything works together. It's really helped us speed up and find information and forms that are needed to be done. But here's something more interesting per our topic for today. It's in nurturing, it's in sales. We're using AI to evaluate profiles. So we can pick out the ones rather than you and I, Bryan, going to a profile like, well, how do we know, Chris, that this is a good lead? Well, there's indicators based on banner, based on profile, based on description words that are being said in the bio, based on content, based on engagement of content. There's all these factors. And so manually, a person would have to go to these profiles, be train their eye to pick out certain patterns. Or we could just set up an auto qualifier where AI is scanning all that for us, saving us literally like 2 to 5 hours a day of constantly looking for new profiles, adding hundreds and thousands of hyper qualified leads into our pipeline. So that's one application of AI. And of course, we're using AI also to evaluate conversations and have suggested language, because not everyone knows how to sell. Not everyone knows what to say to keep that conversation natural and signal based, but through what we've learned, we can put that into AI and others can benefit from that.
Nice. Awesome. Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Where can people, follow you, get more, of your wisdom?
Yes. Flowchat.com is a great place to find us. But I would say keep a close look for DMSellingPlaybook.com, because that is going to be the tool, the resource, the information. Like, you can go on our free YouTube channel, validated, thoughtful, like in the right order thoughts of SOPs to really get the most leverage. It's going to be DMSellingPlaybook.com. We're really proud of this. It's been years and so much effort and hours put into this, and you're going to benefit a lot from it.
Awesome. Cool. Again, DMSellingPlaybook.com. It's coming soon. All right, Chris, great to have you on the show today. We'll see you soon, man.
Appreciate you, Bryan. Take care, guys.
Cheers. All right. Transition.
The biggest breakthrough in my business came when I realized a simple truth. I didn't get my second degree black belt in Taekwondo by watching videos online by myself. That's ridiculous, isn't it? You see, I had a sensei challenging me 3 times a week, pushing me beyond what I thought was possible. Doesn't your business deserve the same level of expert mentorship? The entrepreneurs who truly excel aren't going at it alone, my friend. They have mentors who can see their blind spots, refine their techniques, and hold them accountable. Look, I've helped businesses generate over $500 million online. Go to BryanDulaney.com to learn how my mentorship can transform your business to help you go from where you are to where you really want to be.
All right. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you got massive value from Chris Baden sharing DM selling strategies. Like I said during the show, DM selling is like squeezing the lemon, right? Like, if you're going to spend money on ads, right, you want to get as much out of it as possible. And DM selling allows us to do that. Or if you're, thinking about creating an offer, or you're thinking about creating a campaign, this gives you a lot of good data before you actually create it and deploy it. Okay. So DM selling is a game changer. It's helping a lot of people. Over 4,000 businesses are using Chris's platform alone. We're about to take that to a whole nother level, because I said, Chris, Sean, those are the main founders of the company. I said, and you guys should have 10 times that number. So we've created this playbook, taking all their SOPs and putting it into one system, one framework, and we're practically giving it away for free. So stay tuned, my friend, and I'll see you back next week on Legacy Builders Live.
This breakthrough in my business came when I realized a simple truth. I didn't get my second degree black belt in Taekwondo by watching videos online by myself. That's ridiculous, isn't it? You see, I had a sensei challenging me 3 times a week, pushing me beyond what I thought was possible. Doesn't your business deserve the same level of expert mentorship? The entrepreneurs who truly excel aren't going at it alone, my friend. They have mentors who can see their blind spots, refine their techniques, and hold them accountable. Look, I've helped businesses generate over $500 million online. Go to bryandulaney.com to learn how my mentorship can transform your business to help you go from where you are to where you really want to be.